Hi.
Hi.
So pulse or no pulse?
Pulse.
Pulse. Okay, that's a good sign.
Thank you.
So you got it in the pads.
I have another, let me throw something else out.
Okay.
About 40 years ago, I had a strange illness. Don't know what it was. Seemed to go through my whole body. My nervous system was affected. It started with a nasty headache, and my hands and my feet would cramp. And I get these shooting pains up the back of my feet, back of my legs. And I actually was seen by a doctor at Brigham and Women's, and they thought it might be some form of Epstein-Barr, but I wasn't tired, so they were guessing. And then eventually it went away. They said it was a virus, and it went away. And there's something in this that is making me think about that. Sometimes I get
It might be a virus that just lay dormant. Because I know, like, I think you ordered some things a week or two ago for just like general inflammation in the body.
Yeah.
I mean, the thumb thing, like I get it's an odd place for the clicking to happen, but it can happen. But the thing where you have a little bit of an issue in the middle of the pad of your thumb, that's nerve. Like, there's some sort of weird nerve thing. And so what I had Dave do, like by checking your pulse, was basically it's a really crude way of checking for a thoracic outlet syndrome, which would be something in your shoulder. It's compressing nerves and blood flow and all of that. And so it could always be coming from the neck as well, but a big one for potential just weird things down in the hand is always thoracic outlet syndrome. And so if you had thoracic outlet syndrome, when you raised your hand like this and then rested it back like that, it would cut off the blood supply. And so
Yeah.
you don't have that. And so
Although my shoulders have been, all my joints, I don't know, something about the spring, early summer, my skeletal system goes nuts and then it calms down.
Every year or just this year?
Every year.
Wow.
I must be allergic to something.
Yeah.
Right.
Given where you're at, I would say maybe molds.
Could be. Well, I know mold is not my friend.
Yeah. Okay. How has your gut been? Like how is your digestion been?
Fine.
Like normal, like for you, whatever normal is, or has it been erratic?
It's been fine.
Okay. And respiratory stuff has all been fine.
All good.
Cognitive stuff, like you're able to process information, you're not having foggy brain.
Well, it's okay now, but beginning of spring, I was stupid as a post. I couldn't think of it. I couldn't think straight.
Okay.
Like early pollen and early spring.
And you haven't had COVID in the last couple months or anything like that?
Nope.
Okay. So how's your sleep been?
It's pretty good.
Okay. You're falling asleep okay? You're staying asleep okay?
Pretty much. I'd say I might get up once or twice.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right, this is, we're going to treat it more like a general thing going on in your body rather than site specific. I mean, the foggy thing is usually pretty stagnant lymph. It could be because of inflammation, just could be because of poor lymphatic circulation. One of the things that happens with allergies is like the lymph, like fluid, can get real viscous, like it can get really thick.
Mhm.
And, part of the thing when we think of lymphatic function, we think sometimes of the immune system, and we think about it also as being part of the circulatory system, because it's cleaning up what the circulation leaves behind, but one of the things is that the lymphatic function also is working hand in hand with part of the autonomic nervous system. And sometimes when you have really weird lymphatic issues and it's just not clearing up, I mean, there's a couple things you go for. You look at lymph nodes, which I think you're probably okay there. But I'd say viscosity is a little bit of an issue. And I want to visit the sympathetic nervous system. And by visiting the sympathetic, it kind of helps to improve the function of the parasympathetic. You seem to be sleeping okay, but the achiness, something's up with the lymphatic system. Whenever the body's achy like that, something's up with lymphatic system, and you have enough of the symptoms where I'd say that could be it. And so lymphatic function, when it's not like proper, definitely can cause like weird neurological things. And this is a little bit of an odd one, the thumb pain in the middle of the pad. For me, that sounds like there is some sort of compression further up the neural pathway. We checked for thoracic outlet syndrome, doesn't seem to be there. So it could just be basically fluid retention that is tied to inflammation. And so there's a couple of things I'd like you to do.
Okay.
One is lemongrass. You could take it internally. You could put it in like alcohol or witch hazel and rub it all over your body. You could do both, like either way. That's going to help the lymphatic circulation by improving the autonomic nervous system and its function.
I do that every.
So,
I
okay.
do.
Are you doing it all over your body,
No,
or you take it
No,
internally?
internally. Internally.
Okay. So how much are you taking every day?
2-3 drops.
Okay. Let's
Once.
have it double that, and then do it topically as well.
Okay.
And then like when I say double it, like morning and then night.
Oh, you
Not-
don't mean
not-
warm.
Not all at once. Yeah, not all at once.
Okay.
And then my first choice would be some form of pepper, like that you would put on the body, or a salt bath, or just to get the lymph to be a little bit more like fluid. Pepper is really good for that.
Okay.
If you don't have pepper, do some of the softer times, but with that, you'd have to do it internal. The pepper you can do topical.
Okay. Is there a reason I wouldn't want to do it internally?
The pepper won't work that great for it internal. Like
I
it
mean,
needs to be.
time.
If you want to do it, like yeah, I don't want to overload your system.
Okay.
If you feel you can handle it, but softer times, like time linalool, thuyonol, time geranol, benchmark time. What else would be a good one? even thyme serpulette would probably be okay. But like red thyme, white thyme might be a little too harsh.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I would have you rub vetiver on parts of your body,
Mhm.
like in a massage oil. I mean, you could do a liniment as well, but you're already doing a liniment a couple of times. You could let it dry and then just put some vetiver and like some sesame oil and just rub it on your chest and your abdomen.
Okay.
Yeah. I do that every day for at least a good solid week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and basically like the vetiver will be relaxing to the body, increases and improves circulation, but in a way that's like cool or cooling rather than generating heat, right? And then you know, the thing that we don't think about with vetiver is it's actually quite a substantial like immune system stimulant. Like it actually works very good for that. And so it's not so much about like preventing viruses and bacteria, but the immune function is like real general, and it would just be like kind of fortifying to lymphatic function.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not like the go-to thing where you go, oh, I have a lymphatic issue, I'm gonna go to vetiver. You use like vetiver in that particular scenario to augment something that's already in place. Like vetiver gets used as the primary for a lot of other things, but here it's more to augment what's already happening.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I would do that. Like I don't know that you need to address the lymph nodes, but a thing that I keep visiting in my mind, and right now I'm going to say like maybe not, but I'm gonna throw it out there in case you want to experiment, is a little bit of cypress.
Okay.
And
How?
that would have to be internal.
Uh-huh.
And the reason being that I suspect your pancreas is a little bit weak.
Okay.
And so it would just, it would help to reduce inflammation in the body because of improving the function of the pancreas. Like the pancreas isn't causing all these problems in your body, but you know, it starts to throw off like enzymes and things in the body, and your body doesn't have the ability to fight off inflammation the way that, you know, it normally does. And you're dealing with some weird inflammation.
Mm.
Are you retaining fluid at all?
You know, I don't think so. I'm not.
I don't think so either, but I still wanted
Yeah,
to ask.
I'm
So
not.
let's stick with what we have and go from there. But I think this is a solid approach for right now. I mean, it's a weird thing, and so we'll treat it and we'll start seeing. And sometimes, you know, sometimes it gets better and sometimes it gets partially better. And whatever happens, it kind of will tell us a little bit more of what's going on with you. I suspect you had a virus back then that lay dormant in your body. Like it's one of the ones where some they're there and they die away, and then there's some that you get them and you have them. Like, you know,
Yeah.
they're not an issue, but
Mm-hmm.
something was up back then.
Yeah.
Did you have any sort of brain scan or anything back then?
No.
Okay.
No.
I
There.
don't know that you needed it. I'm just
Yeah.
fishing. You know what I mean? Like I'm just being curious.
Over the years, doctors have questioned meningitis.
That's where I was kind of nonchalantly trying to go.
Yeah, but it was never tested.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, okay.
Thank you.
Well, let's try what we're trying and we'll go from there. The other thing with the vetiver is it does help to strengthen the brain. It does it more by balancing out the brain. And if you're concerned about brain fatigue, um, regular sage, Dalmatian sage, sage triloba, all of those are very good for brain fatigue.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how would I take those?
8-10 drops on your wrist, like just,
On wrist.
and then rub it. Yeah, just rub them together. Yeah.
Okay. I will.
I don't think you need to do that right off the bat, but
Okay.
I would probably throw that in the mix a little bit later down the line. But yeah, I mean, I like to do sage just as like a brain tonic. You know, I do it with rosemary and basil as well, but about every 4 or 5 weeks, I do about 5 days of just a big dosages of sage, just to try to keep the brain strong. You know, body's
Okay.
getting older. Gotta keep that brain doing the brain things it needs to do. Like, you know what I mean?
I'll do anything.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's a coffee mug that said, I can't brain today. You know, not that far off sometimes when the head gets real foggy.
Right.
Yeah.